The following newscast is a description of a Murky Waters scenario. The news you are about to hear is not currently happening. It is a projection of future possibilities.
Welcome back to the Port Post, where we cover all your local news here in Port St. Joe. It's time for Summary Sunday. Today we will be describing the Murky Waters scenario as it applies here in Port St. Joe. We will begin tonight's segment with guest reports.
To kick it off, Ms. Flora Hashtag from the Community Garden, who has information regarding how community voices may be at threat of great change.
Yes, thank you for having me. In a recent discussion, community members voiced their concerns regarding the proliferation of fake news across various social media platforms. Many residents have noticed that the absence of a unified community social media account may have the potential to lead to the emergence of multiple accounts that may cause the spread of misinformation. Despite the growing concern, no action has been taken to address the spread of fake news or to filter public comments, as current moderation is only limited to obscenity. Advocates emphasize the importance of upholding the rights to freedom of information and expression within the community. In a positive development, more residents are becoming actively involved with the Community Garden, a project aimed at enhancing local engagement and promoting sustainability. However, a critical lack of funding possesses a significant challenge to the expansion of the initiative. Community leaders are urging continued efforts to hold town hall meetings to discuss the goals of the garden, including the pressing concern of contaminated land. Donation boxes for funding and gardening supplies are being accepted at this time. Additionally, the leaders of this project have created planting events in an attempt to foster excitement and participation among residents. So keep your eyes peeled for those upcoming opportunities.
That's very interesting, Ms. Flora. Thank you for your input.
And it doesn't end there, folks. Next, we have Dr. Florentino.
Hello, and thanks for having me. The sad reality is that public transportation has simply become more susceptible to rising costs of fuel. My team has also informed me that in Port St. Joe, the current master plan fails to place enough emphasis on the particular matter. As long as public transportation is not prioritized properly, the city will continue to fall behind in this growing matter. Now, turning to education, there's a new proposal for a high school between the cities of Port St. Joe and Weehawken. The positive outlook is that it could reduce class sizes with the larger facility, but there's concerns over the closure of current schools, and this could potentially cause social unrest. The action taken by the community was to engage in the development process and thus building trust in the project.
Thank you, Dr. Florentino.
And now to field economist and social scientist Dr. Deflation to discuss current trends.
Recently, there's been a return of industry to Port St. Joe. This small town has seen a large number of industries move away, taking with them a large number of jobs and a significant portion of many households' income. But some industries have started to return to the Port St. Joe area. This does not mean a return of jobs, however. There are many of these large companies will bring in workers from other areas who are willing to work for cheaper and will only offer a few jobs, if any, to the locals of the Port St. Joe area. These large companies also fail to redistribute any profits to the local town, other than the bare minimum. These companies continue this terrible act through several means. They often silence dissenting voices and opinions in the public meetings. They also resist every measure that would be put in place to make sure the companies take responsibility.
Thank you, Dr. Deflation. It seems there is much to be considered by our viewers this Sunday evening.
Next up, local medical professional Dr. Insomnia speaking on healthcare access and disease.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to talk on this subject. Concerning healthcare plans have become far more accessible. However, there have been no changes in cost or affordability, especially for low-income families. Business owners have been moving towards providing limited or ideologically driven healthcare options. However, specialist providers have increased options, and due to low competition, this has only driven the costs higher. Though there has been an increased focus in disease management, there are gaps in preventative care coverage and healthcare advocacy, further perpetuating these issues. Currently, we are developing a subsidy program to help lower the cost of preventative care for our residents, as well as using our federally qualified medical center to offer additional care. When it comes to disease and death, in terms of recent industry updates, regulated industry has returned, but may not be environmentally friendly or may not support workers' rights, unfortunately. Previously contaminated sites do not pose an immediate threat and will remain unused at this time. But affected individuals will not receive compensation for loss and damage caused by the initial industries in question. We have seen a reduced disease and death trend with increased fruit and vegetable uptake, but we also understand that this is not necessarily affordable or accessible for everyone, and there are no current regulations on fast food. Going forward, professionals will be conducting site assessments to confirm sites do not pose a threat and implement continuous monitoring plans. We will also be updating land use plans to reduce exposure from current industrial activities. Lastly, we will be implementing community environmental health education programs to build awareness in the community.
Thank you, Dr. Insomnia. That was very informative. That's all we have for you this week on the Port Post.
Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you all next week for further updates regarding these possible scenarios.
I'm Natasha Claus.
And I'm Vinny Blanche.
Signing off.